If you have been involved in an accident that wasn't your fault, why claim against your own insurance policy? Let G4 Claims help you today. G4 Claims can provide you with a like-for-like replacement hire vehicle whilst your car is off the road. Get your car repaired at an approved body shop or a body shop of your choice. If your car is unfortunately written off, G4 Claims will recover the cost of your pre-accident value and you will be kept in the hire vehicle until you are settled. If you suffer from any injuries, G4 Claims can set you up with a compensation claim and all services are totally free. G4 Claims charge the at-fault insurance company for all their services. They will never bill you or your insurance. Call G4 Claims for any help and advice today. Not at fault claims, made easy.
We get into it in style, didn't we?
Jesus Christ.
We're back, baby.
We're back.
Episode number 32, 33 or
Stevie
whatever.
G, fuck up, you gimp.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're back for the Sellik the Thunder podcast. What a hit, by the way. I've got my eyes on you, Ange Postecoglou. What a weekend, lads. Celtic 6, Dundee 0. We're here to break it all down here in the G4 Claim studio. We're going to talk about the week ahead for Celtic as well. We've got a quiz, we've got Twitter questions. Don't worry, it's a packed card for you today. Smiling watching Celtic, eh? Forgot what it's like.
Take it away first.
And you go, Kieran, mate.
It just what a strange feeling actually being happy watching Celtic for the first time in how long would you say?
18 months.
18 months.
Surely, because I think I watched your video yesterday. I think I agree with the fact that even though we won the quadruple treble, it was hard to enjoy
Hard to
that game
smile.
as such, just because of the nature of it. But to have such a good performance from start to finish, it's refreshing to see. And even though it is against newly promoted Dundee, it's nice to see the signs that there is improvement. Hopefully, going to continue to build on week after week.
Yep.
And the main thing for me about the game was I remember at half time I said to my dad, I was like, see if we can come out and actually keep the same intensity for the next half. Normally with Celtic, even at their best of times in the past, we've came out with blown teams away in the first half and then the second half's been a bit sluggish. Just
Take your foot off the gas a wee bit.
I feel like we never really took the foot off gas until the last 10 minutes, and even then I think they could have we still scored.
added it. We could have added
Still
a couple of goals in at that point.
Right, so even then we did slow it down, but we were still being effective in front of goal, and that's exactly what you want to see.
Well, that's why I like these podcasts, because I only get 10 minutes to do the kind of three things and kind of pack it into one short video that's watchable. So I like that we get to, and there's my MacBook away there, sorry. I like that we get to kind of sit down and talk a lot more about it. But yesterday, right, it could have been double digits. And also, it's the first real insight into what Ange is all about. From the moment the team was announced yesterday, we knew it was going to be very, very attacking. It was good to see, and as Kieran mentioned, and we never really took the foot off the gas. No. He didn't want to slow down. He wanted to. He doesn't care. You know, is that Simpsons meme, innit? Stop, he's already dead.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the story of our season.
You were talking about it could have been double digits. It will be double digits at some point this season. We play like that against a Livingston or whoever. That will be double. Yeah, it will be double digits next season. I think it's only a matter of time.
I mean, we've not even brought up the fact you predicted it.
I know.
It's funny looking back in that video, because I was like, at 6.
There was a boy in 4 times as well that predicted 6 as well. So it's good that I'm not alone in my predictions.
I was hoping for maybe a 3-0 yesterday.
That's what I said. I said 3-0, maybe 3-1.
I didn't want to get carried away with it, but I mean, obviously, I've never really seen it. I've Dundee to make a judgment on them. I never watched the highlights of last week. I haven't watched sports in a long time until last night.
Last night, I was as soon as I was in for work last night, I was like to my dad, right, sports scene on, please, thank you. But yeah, it could have been double digits, and as you said, it looks as though that could be the way this season goes.
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to watch Celtic yesterday, and I've not said that in a long, long time. Like, I know we were beating teams maybe. And at some points last season we were beating teams 3 or 4-0, but we were still playing shit.
It was like we played games like that. It might have been 4-0. I think it was away to St Mirren or something, but it was a dreadful 4-0 to watch. Like, you couldn't believe the game was 4-0
as well.
We did get. We were talking about this in work last night. We did get a 6-0 last season. Did we know?
It was 6-1.
Was that Livingston?
Livingston. That was it. John Kennedy was in charge, and we were like, oh, here we go. The Kennedy masterclass is showing through. Kennedy, aye. Yesterday, look, we've got to talk about. Like, there's so much from the performance to digest.
We've not even mentioned him yet.
Dissect, I should say.
How long are we in? 4 minutes in, we've not mentioned his name.
his name?
The man himself.
I'm dying for it, and I don't, you know, there's a lot of claims about like cultural, what is it? Appropriation.
I don't
nowadays.
like where this is going.
No, no, but
we're
like,
getting into dangerous
like, I'm not.
territory.
No, I'm not going to. Don't. Jesus Christ, what do you take me for? But I really wanted like a manga style thumbnail for the day, like us three in like manga fashion.
Backwards.
Watch it backwards. Watch for the quiz.
We're speaking backwards the whole time.
I wanted to get us like a wee anime drawing of us three sitting like behind the table, all excited. But sadly, I don't think
Somebody will be game for that somewhere.
Surely,
Somebody
surely
will
we've
be
got
up
a
for
few
that.
Japanese listeners today. If so, welcome, hello, and shout
We're
out
weirding out for them anyway.
We
That's
will be putting Kyogo in the title.
throughout the entire season. And also shout out to I've told this story a million times, but shout out to the guy at the head of the Tokyo CSE. What a legend. But I wanted a like manga style drawing for our thumbnail today, because I thought that would have been very, very cool. But KYOGO FURUHASHI, oh my God almighty. Just I have no words.
We had a king in Henrik Larsson. We've got an emperor now. KYOGO Furuhashi. My God, that is the best debut I think I've ever seen. Is that too much to say? Is that?
I don't think it's personally. In our lifetimes, anyway, I could not come out and say a better individual performance in a debut. I mean, prior to this, my favourite was obviously Scott Sinclair coming on against Hearts at Tynecastle and scoring that goal. But in terms of going out and getting a hat trick, he could have had 6.
He should have had 6. He should have had 6.
Like,
2 absolute sitters.
if he's-
3 maybe.
But it's just like if you're scoring 3 goals and you're getting that many chances, you're kind of confident he's going to put them away.
Yep.
I mean, even midweek he could have scored 2, right? But I don't know. He's just exciting. It's weird to have a player that you're actually excited about at Celtic again. Like it's weird. Like the runs he's making in behind, it's something we've not seen for a long time.
The difference between him and Edouard is and
they're different. They're different.
yeah,
players.
I'm not. This isn't me going down the route of now that KYOGO's here and scoring goals. I don't care about Edouard. I never have cared about Edouard. But they are 2 completely different players. That's just the reality of it. It's not me coming out and giving the whole Edouard's lazy thing. The fact is, Edouard was a player who was very much giving me the ball to my feet. I'll stand about.
Kyogo wants to make runs in
Yes,
behind.
exactly.
He finds the space, whereas Edward's wanting to do his cell. He's picking the ball deeper. He's trying to drive in and make something. But I don't know. It just seems to be a match made in heaven if we can keep Ryan Christie playing at his best and actually signed up to a new deal, because I know you are about to gush at him as well, Ryan, but my God, for a player that took so much stick last season, for somebody that he really did, like, I'm not going to go out and say like, he didn't deserve it. He never covered his cell in glory last season whatsoever. But I mean,
But
to
that's
see
the
him
difference
being
in a
properly
coach.
coached, that's what I mean. To see him properly coached and actually enjoying his football, like this is a Ryan Christie we seen in the 18-19 season when Rodgers brought him in.
Well, that's what I was going to say there.
Even under Lennon.
Like, you know, and I don't want to continuously bring this podcast back to being the Slate and Neil Lennon show, because quite frankly I'm over that. I can't be bothered.
So he did put good
going
football
for that
under Neil Lennon.
He did
initially.
for the first season, but you now notice the difference. I think we all are in agreement that first season under Lennon was a kind of dying out of the Rodgers phase. And then it was proper.
He was on the coattails.
Yeah.
Rodgers
So
at that point.
you do now notice it. You know, when for months when we were saying Neil Lennon isn't coaching this team right, and there was people in the comments going, "How can you say that about Neil Lennon? He's won this, that, the next thing." You're now seeing the difference between a player who was playing so well under an elite level coach like Brendan Rodgers to now someone who probably wants to be an elite level coach in Ange Postecoglou. That's the difference now between those periods in time, and Ryan Christie could potentially be the most perfect example of that.
Yep, I think if we were to sign him, like even if they were to announce something today, like Ryan Christie's got a new 3-year deal, that'd be probably one of the signings
It's
of
good
the
as
summer.
a new signing,
as well. I thought yesterday was one of the best individual performances I've seen. It's definitely Christie's best game in the hoops, I would say. All in all, he was perfect. I mean, he was just
That
beating
pass
players.
for the third goal was just
I mean, you could talk about that. You could talk about the heel chop for the assist to
that's
Rogic's
right.
goal. You could talk about him nutmegging a guy for the first goal for Furuhashi. Was that Furuhashi's second?
That
Yeah,
was Furuhashi's second.
But you can see he's playing under a manager that's challenging him. With Lennon, he wasn't getting challenged at all, which then allows him to be lackadaisical. And you saw the performances dipping. Now we've got a manager that expects lots from Christie and is pushing him forward to get the best sort of performance out of him. And you're seeing the fruits of that already. I think he's a must start now on Thursday. I think he's going to walk into the team after that game. You can't. Kyogo got a hat-trick of goals, but he got a hat-trick of assists. That's just as good because he's setting up goals at the end of the day.
I was genuinely
so happy.
See, up until it got announced, I was still unsure as to who was going to get the man of the match, because I thought Ryan Christie...
There's so many contenders.
Like Ryan Christie or Furuhashi it would have been, but I genuinely thought it would have really showed how good his performance was if he then got man of the match instead of the man that got the match ball. But I don't know, it's good to see him playing well, because everybody knew there was a player there. It was just people were getting raging at the fact he was just shooting for anywhere last season.
Aye. And that was where the coaching comes in.
That's what I mean, but it's down to the fact, it's the point I always make, but it's like Lennon was just putting 11 men out in the park and hoping for a moment of individual brilliance, and Christie was trying to deliver that with shooting for anywhere on the pitch.
And one thing that we've not really acknowledged in all of this with Ryan Christie is he was playing off the left, and this is his best. When have we ever until Andrews came in, we've never really seen.
This was us last season saying, "Oh, we're playing him at a position to be better in the middle." But I mean, now he's playing out of position technically, but he's still playing amazing.
Did Rodgers ever play him out in the left?
I don't remember him ever.
He played out wide a couple of times.
I just remember him playing either in his normal number 10 role. I remember him playing up front a couple of times. I remember there was a couple of times where he was playing up. Yep. And then on the right hand side, I have genuinely, until Andrews came in, never seen him play on the left. And already in that space of time, he's had his best ever game for Celtic, arguably.
Yeah,
playing out of position.
See, that's the thing with a performance like yesterday, but they've set the standards for themselves that fans are now going to. I mean, I'm not saying we need to go out and win 6-0 every game, but the level of performance and the intensity we had yesterday, that's what we need to come to expect for this team, and they need to expect that from themselves. They can't let standards slip again. It's all about. I'm sure Ange won't let. We're dragging it into the heads that's the standard you have set now. Yep. That's what you need to try and aim to achieve in every game, trying to go out and get that level of performance, because it was genuinely faultless yesterday. Maybe the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, the first 10 was a bit.
It's just finding your feet in the game. It's everybody's just sort of trying to suss each other out. But after that, it was Celtic right until the end. It
felt like just proper good old Celtic. Like it was a completely different team from what we've seen last season, and that was the most enjoyable part of it.
I mean, I know it was Dundee at home at the end of the day. We're not going to get carried away ourselves. We're no world beaters, but last season still happened. We're still recovering for that. Like, we've had a bad couple of results this season already, but I mean, hopefully it's turning a new page, and hopefully this is the sort of football we can play. But see as well, the thing I was more happy about yesterday, like, I felt a bit more confident in the ability to pass out for the back. As I said, I know it's Dundee. They're not going to be. There's got to be teams that are going to press us a lot better than that, and maybe got a bit more quality to do so. But in terms of actually being able to pass it about, and I wasn't absolutely shitting myself like every 2 seconds when MD was on the ball. There was maybe a couple of dodgy moments, maybe if his staff out.
Aye, there was a couple of passes a wee bit loose, a wee bit. I feel like Welsh was maybe the same as well, but it was nothing overly concerning. I thought
Welsh, I feel, has staked his claim to be starting on Thursday, because there's no chance Neil Beaton should be starting.
Beaton should be back in that team every game.
I've never been an advocate for Beaton. I've been an advocate for Beaton to be nowhere near the starting 11. He's not a squad player that can fill in at centre half, and he's I don't know, you can say he's gave good service to Celtic, but in the past couple of years, the amount of times he's cost us is unforgivable.
He done it most recently at Ibrox before he came back into the team, and I thought that should have been it. But here he is, and obviously that now. But I want to just come back to Kyogo, because there's so much to rant and rave about him for. He looks just like a naturally gifted football player. This is an absolute gem we have found. Diamond. He's a diamond. Like, this is somebody who, without Ange coming to the club, we would never ever have signed.
Exactly.
We'd never have been at Celtic. This is a genuine pony
diamond
in the rough. I was just in awe from everything yesterday, and especially, this is one thing I want to talk about, Ryan, was he's off the ball movement, he's off the ball work rate. Ange was raving about it yesterday. He claimed it was sensational. He looked like a clean tackler and everything. It looked like he was just overall just magnificent at everything he was doing.
He was setting the example. I felt like 2 players were setting the example yesterday. Obviously Christie as well, now that I come to think about it. But McGregor and Kyogo were really leading from the front. That is how you play as a striker. The pressing off the ball. He was our best defender in the first half as well as our best attacker. Off the ball, if he was to lose the ball, he goes and runs for it and presses the defence. He's about half a yard quicker than the defenders, and he's quicker mentally as well. You've seen that with his runs. He's one of those players that's got a picture in his head of where he needs to be, and he's there 2 seconds before the defenders are there, and by then the ball's already in the net.
For the second goal especially, I was impressed with that. I mean, for all of them they were impressive, but see just the way he found his cell to the back.
Did you just watch Sports Scene? Did you just watch, see when they slow it down, they break it down and that, like, I wasn't even realising until I watched that how good it actually was and how smart he was being. Like it was a step ahead of the defenders every single time.
And then he just makes that move.
Yep.
Now, I've watched... Now, I'm not going to compare the two. I've watched Aguero do that for Man City for about a decade.
Oh, I like Man City. Ooh.
Yeah, they've done well.
Can't help but mention it,
No,
can you?
but Aguero just knows at the right place at the right time when to turn it on and run with the ball. Kyogo was doing the same. I mean, I'm not comparing the two, but obviously...
Well, because obviously Kyogo's better,
Kyogo's better, but he is an emperor. We can't speak terribly of him. No, the guy is just top class. I mean, he's 26. How is nobody else snapped him up? How has it been us that have paid the money for him?
Iniesta was playing with probably the greatest player he's ever played with, to be quite honest.
Ah, Jesus, man.
I tweeted out today, it's so lucky that Iniesta has got to play with Larsson and Kyogo in his career.
That's right. Never even considered that. He's played with two of the greats.
Two of the greats. And then Messi as well. But
he's just got everything. He's got all the right attributes to actually succeed here. I mean,
Yeah.
I know he's at 5'7" and under.
Oh,
10
under
stone,
10 stone.
But he is going to be loved by everyone. You know how Eduard has always had this divide between the younger and the older support. I'm not generalising every single younger and every single older supporter there, but if you were to kind of put it in an average, the older support were getting fed up with Eduard. Kyogo is going to be loved by everyone because of how hard he works, how
there's
he is.
nothing you can pick out and say, like for people to get on his back about, because see when you're, as Ryan said, leading the line with that level of energy, and like I think Ange said that about Christie yesterday, but it's the same for Kyogo. It's the energy is infectious. Like everybody else sees the effort he's put in, I need to match that. And that's exactly what you need. If
that happens when you play football. Like, I know I've made this comparison before, and there's no sort of real correlation between a professional 11-a-side game and a game of fives. But when people around you work hard, you want to work harder.
You're inclined to do
You're inclined to do it. So that you can see that the evidence, the proof is in the pudding that was happening yesterday. Because as we've already mentioned, that first sort of 10 minutes, I thought the game was a bit more even. We weren't quite there. Then when Kyogo gets his first goal and he's bang right into it like that,
the only thing I feel bad for the boy, but because he's going to get hacked down all the time. And that's
but can his pace beat that?
I mean,
most of the time it will.
I mean, it's the whole point. I mean, in Mel, like when if he tries to hold the ball up, he's going to get a knee right in the back, man, every game. But I don't know, it's part and parcel of being a talented player up here, innit? Like, regardless of who you play for, you just get hacked down. Like, any flair about you.
Even when he came off after he scored his hat-trick, the way he was bound to the fans and that.
Oh, like,
this
so
guy...
Adorable.
His wee face when he got announced as man of the match.
It's just wholesome content that I've needed for over a year. The guy is just... It's so easy to get behind him, and he's so good for the Scottish game, having a guy like this as well.
Somebody we've no spoke about, but Abada.
Oh, I love him as well.
But for 19 years of age, like, and a wee bromance on the cards with him and Kyogo.
I know, it's just
on Instagram last night. That's brilliant. That's what you want to see.
That is literally the future of our club right there. Those two guys are the next few years of our club.
Twitter, but we can better stop scoring, man. They'll try and sell him before the end of the window.
Abada's just been great. He's everything that Celtic have needed in a winger. And we touched on this in the preview the other night, Ryan, about Abada's creativity and how he drives at defenders and how he gets his own attempts on goal. And the other night I said I can't remember him hitting a shot off target. Now I remember he had one off target yesterday. There was one that kind of went a bit wide, but the confidence for him to take on that shot is a real reflection of how well he's been playing. He's
a phenomenal dribbler of the ball. The guy, once he gets the ball, his first thought is, how am I going to attack this defence that are ahead of me? He's an absolute joy to watch. Mark my words, this guy is going far in the game. See if you've got that mindset and that mentality at 19 years old to just attack.
It's exactly like Celtic fans loving a winger, but somebody that's not afraid to. It's like even when we had Frimpong at right back, like seeing his first few games, he was fearless in terms of attacking the opposition fullback. Man, he was just taking it to the byline, getting the ball in every time. But I don't know. It's just at 19 years of age to be able to come in and this is a sign that everybody had. There was a raised eyebrow or two, definitely, when we seen that it was his agent, that we just always seem to be going back to for players. But I mean, this time it might actually seem to have worked out because we've actually got a decent player in our hands. A lot of Marian Shved comparisons before a ball was even kicked on a signing like this. Because I mean, to be fair, we do have a sort of, don't mean a right, but like a right to be reserved maybe on signings because how poor the recruitment's been in the past few years. Especially with players that we don't know a lot about and they've not worked out in terms of Klimala and Bayo and Abui Kouassi, and the recruitment hasn't been up to scratch. But looking at some of the signings we've made this summer, it's looking promising.
Aye, we don't want to get over our set like the way we did last season, but the signs are there right now that it's going to turn out to be
I just hope they can continue this, like, especially in the next few games in the lead up to the Rangers game, because it gave them the confidence.
But do you know what gives me confidence though? The fact that Ange seems like a manager that if things do start to turn a wee bit, I think he can identify the negatives way before what Lennon would have identified negatives, and he will make the changes to ensure that we don't get ourselves into that situation.
You could make that example for the game yesterday, because even although Forrest got a goal and an assist, he still took him out of the game because he didn't have a good game, apart from obviously what he contributed in terms of stats. He was giving away the ball a lot of times.
I can't even remember much about Forrest, to be honest, off the top of my head.
He was giving away the ball numerous times. But it's so good that he can change that. Even Lennon last season would have kept Forrest in that team, but he just brought. I thought you were just looking at the camera there as if.
No, I was just making sure everything was running fine. Don't worry.
It's just those changes that you can see that Ange is proactive rather than reactive.
Yep.
He's making changes before.
You need to think a step ahead, and I don't know. It's just. As we say, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it's just, I think we've definitely been caught up in it a bit. See, just for the fact, for us to come on this podcast especially and be so overwhelmingly positive about it.
It's the first time.
And we've not even mentioned the man that I've personally given a good bit of stick to, Tony Ralston.
Phenomenal.
The fucking, where's he fae? Because I want to call him, like, I don't know, the Coat Bridge Cafu or something. I don't know.
I'm going to mention my favourite.
You better relocate to Coat Bridge just to...
He's not from Coat Bridge, that's where...
I'm going to find out right now where he's fae. That's right, because people call him
that's Rooney, you think?
The Bells Hill, what is it they call him?
I don't know.
Well, Ralston's for Bells Hill. What right backs begins with a B? I like that, I've seen a good ones. I've seen Tony Ralves. I've seen what was the other one I seen? I was howling at. There was actually a belter that I seen yesterday, and Franz Brickenbauer. I like that. That was a personal favourite of mine.
See, with Ralston, it's a case of we gave him a lot of stick. Yep. See if he can continue to prove me wrong and actually
he's fighting for that jersey,
stable, put in stable defensive performances, especially in the bigger games. Then fair enough, I'll eat my words, but we still need a right back. I'm not getting caught up in this.
We'll come on to that in a second. But talking about good performances, was it just me yesterday that didn't necessarily mind Jerry McCulloch's performance on Celtic TV?
He's taking a piss. He fucked up in the first minute. He's like, I'll have a Saturday 3 o'clock kick-off. I'm like that. Well, and Jerry.
Is it Saturday in North Korea or something?
He made a couple of daft comments, but I think just because we were playing so well and we were winning the game, I wasn't really paying attention as much.
I was the odd one out here then, I guess, because I was actually at the game.
We'll all be there on Thursday though.
That's at 60,000, can't wait.
At least we can play in front of a crowd.
That's very true. You can see that already. Mickey Gerrard. I'm going to get clipped for that. I don't care. Clip me. I've got all my predictions right so far, haven't I?
Tony Ralston, what a player last night. Or yesterday.
I think I did last night.
But over the last look, let's be honest, and I want to make this point perfectly clear. As Celtic supporters, we need to stop ourselves from being far too naive and saying, "Oh, we're fine now."
I know,
because he's played well for 3 games.
That's what I mean. But that's the whole. That's a problem with some of us that. I mean, it stretches beyond the whole just players and that, but it's like with Ralston, it's like we see a couple of good performances. We've had this in the past. Like I remember last season when we never sold Rogic in the summer. And then he had a couple of games and maybe like October time they actually played alright. Well, thank God we never got rid of Rogic. And where was it for the rest of the season? That's what I mean. Players can play well for a few games and people have the wool pulled over their eyes again. Like this goes back to the protest as well. But like people, everybody was raging at the board after it beat off Hearts. And then we signed Joe Hart and James McCarthy. And some of the people that were raging at the board before that were like, oh no, you can't go and protest now on Sunday because we made 2 signings. I'm like, we need
it's very, very fickle.
Like that is not the point.
We could have made those signings in July the 1st, basically.
Yep.
What was holding them up?
I know.
The board?
That's the thing. McCarthy took 2 or 3 weeks to complete. I mean, he'd be a free transfer. What was taking so long with that?
The board?
Had to wake him up, man. He's still fucking half asleep. Is he been hibernating or something?
We're playing a couple of games here and there, training.
I'd like to see where he fits in this team. I know he will get games, definitely. Maybe.
I was surprised he wasn't involved in the squad yesterday. Obviously, he must just not be up to scratch yet at the level that Ange would want. But I was surprised not even see him on the bench yesterday. I must admit, I thought he was going to be. We were speaking about how it would have been the perfect game for him. I mean, I wouldn't change anything about yesterday's performance now, but I was surprised not to see him involved.
One thing I just want to mention about the game, not rubbing it in because I was there yesterday, but
Cheers,
the highlights don't do it justice how good we were. If you watch us in person, you probably see it on Thursday, how good we are on the ball and off the ball as well, the amount of movement, the pressing. It's just an absolute joy to watch. I came out of that game grinning.
Yep, I
was so happy.
Ear to ear. My smile was ear
thinking
to
about
ear.
that. I was thinking, is ear to ear, is that a saying?
Yep.
But that's exactly what it was. And everybody was the same. People were singing KYOGO songs already. Like
Oh,
after a game.
jeez. I seen what my Uncle Brian sent me last night. Oh my God. My Uncle Brian, I don't know if he's came up with it or he's seen it on Facebook or whatever, but he's got one for Leia Labada.
What?
All we hear is Leia Labada.
I like it. I don't mind it.
Everything Celtic part in the club.
That's actually pretty good.
That's
Live Aid at Celtic
he
Park.
literally, we I read out the text that he sent me because I don't know if he thinks I've got the power to get this going round Celtic Park, but
Let's get this going.
He messages me, all we hear is Leia Labada. Get this out there. Get this out
And
there.
his last message,
Well,
oh my
I
God.
know. Get this out there. We need to hear it with a full stadium and the hand clap. So there you go for Brian, everybody, on Thursday night.
Let's do it for Brian.
Let's do it for
All
Brian.
we need is Leia Labada.
Yeah, just to clarify, the last message was about Eddie Howe coming to Celtic in case you thought it was...
Who? Without, but
Eddie
the thing
who?
is, if we brought Eddie Howe in, we would never have had KYOGO.
Yep.
So, swings and roundabouts.
Swings and roundabouts and all the rest of it. But Tony Ralston, yeah, he's been playing well and looking, if he can go on a run for 10 to 15 games, the big question now is he good enough to be second choice?
If he can prove himself to actually do what he's been doing against the higher level opposition, when we hopefully get into the group stages of the Europa League, against Rangers, against teams like Aberdeen, if he can show that level of performance, if he can sort of put in a good performance against Hearts in the Cup as well on Sunday, that'll be a good telltale sign. But I mean, I'm still we need another right back.
We do.
We definitely do that.
We can't
definitely
neglect
need
that.
a left back as
It would
well.
be negligence if we did.
It would be
bring a right back
negligence
in.
because the fact of the matter is, okay, if somehow been, I say somehow been persuaded as if he's not played really well, I'm going to give all the credit to Anthony Ralston that he deserves. He's played magnificently the last few games, but if somehow you've been persuaded that he should be and is now the first choice for the foreseeable, okay, that's fine, but we still need another one. Ralston gets injured, we have nobody.
The reality is he's only in that position because there's nobody else.
Aye.
Like, it's the same situation I said about Welsh last season. Welsh wasn't in that team on merit, in my opinion. He was there because we never had any other option to play. And that's down to the board, no signing players for us to actually have squad depth, and that's where we get caught out, because it's all fine well saying, oh, Ralston's playing all right now. What happens if the transfer window shuts and he goes back to his old self?
Yep.
And we've got Ralston as our only option.
Yep.
And people
You're
got like, then people that were on board with him actually getting a game, and they're like, well, why do we not sign him? I'm like, this is why we need to do our business right now.
Yep.
Get the team settled and realise that even if they're playing okay, that might not last. This could just be a wee honeymoon period where Ange coming in, it could fade. So I don't think there's many people out there that will be in the
It's just not to be naive about it.
I don't think there'll be many people out there like, oh, Ralston's the answer now. I don't think people are that naive to have that sort of mindset if there are a few okay performances. Well, a few good
okay, I would say better than okay. Aye.
His goals have definitely...
Oh mate, how you just 2 great goals in a row, man?
I know, I couldn't believe it.
There's going to be a separate section of the Player of the Year awards. It's going to be Ralston's goal of the year for the goals that he's scoring, man.
Keeps up on a
2
weekly
absolute
basis.
This is
steamers.
going to be a trivia question at the end of the season. Like, which squad player scored 2 goals on the bounce at the start of the year?
But the thing
No,
is, if you think Ralston's good right now, what if we go in and sign a £4 or £5 million right back? How good are they going to be in this team?
Because
That's
we
the
need
thing.
natural people who fit the system,
Aye.
and neither Taylor or Ralston are naturally fitted to this system. I know Ralston's done a good job adapting. I don't think Taylor has done as good a job adapting.
The thing
but
that gives me the fear a wee bit is the fact that it's fullbacks that are going to be pushing quite a bit higher.
and narrower.
2 fullbacks that don't have bags of pace to get back when teams hit us on the counter.
Yep.
We got away with it yesterday, but I mean, against teams of higher
Because
quality,
that is-
then we're
you-
going to get punished.
It's a really good point, because one thing that I noticed yesterday, when I think it was after one of the KYOGO misses in the second half, I noticed how many shots we got into the box. There was a good amount of our players in there, and the ball went wide. It went out for a throw, a goal kick or whatever. And I was like, okay. I'm like, what happens in the situation when that goes on target? Alan McGregor saves that and he launches it up to
It's a
Ryan
different-
Kent on the
aye,
left wing.
It's a completely different case, because I mean, with Dundee, who was the out ball that had the bags of pace to get them up the park? I mean,
Charlie Adam.
And then who was up front? Sheridan.
Kelly
Sheridan
Sheridan
and then Cummins.
came on. Aye.
Like they're not exactly the most prime team for counter attacks. Yeah. So their whole thing's getting up to the big man and getting it done for the rest of them to catch up. So I don't know. It's going to be different, as we said. We're really, really happy with the performance yesterday, but it'll be really telling if we can keep that level of performance against better opposition, not only in the league but in Europe as well. Because for us to play Jablonec on Thursday, if we can go out and put a really good performance, that'll be really reassuring to myself and a lot of other fans. Very tired.
Nice. A very nice transition actually into talking about Thursday, but one last thing about yesterday as well. We kept a clean sheet.
We did. And that all stems from having a proper goalkeeper at the back. Yes.
What did you make of the video? And I will forever, ever, until the day he leaves the club, I will back Barkas. Jesus Christ himself. But what are you shaking your head at?
It's been made out to be something it's not. It's a shooting drill, it's not a goalkeeping drill. He's not supposed to be going for shots.
Right, okay.
I seen it and I was just like, I'm not even watching that because I don't want to see it.
It was funny.
He would have been jumping for them, let's be honest. I mean, come on.
So it was a shooting drill?
Yeah.
Absolutely?
Yes.
Positively.
Guaranteed.
Positively.
Guaranteed.
I mean, why are you doubting me? You're on the back bar.
I am.
Why are you looking for ammunition?
No, I'm not looking for ammunition. Jesus Christ. Right. Nice transition though, because you spoke about Thursday night, so let's talk about Thursday night. And I think I don't want to jinx things, right? But you're
don't. You're the absolute master at jinxing.
I think it could be similar. I think it could be similar to yesterday on Thursday.
I think it could be as well, but I don't believe in superstition. I've said this multiple times. Superstition doesn't exist. Sorry, Stevie Wonder, but it doesn't. It just doesn't exist. So I don't care what I'm going to say, but we should be through at the point we're at. We're 4-2 up after scoring 4 goals away from home. I would be shocked and appalled if we managed to be knocked out on Thursday night, Kieran. I know your face is saying 1,000 words there, but I literally can't see anything else but Celtic going through. But the big story about Thursday night is it's going to be the first time since March 2020 that there will be 68,000 supporters in Celtic Park. This is a different animal. Me and my dad were talking about this yesterday. A lot of the players don't know what's going to hit them on Thursday night. You know, you're right there, right?
Sorry, mate.
You're right, attacking the microphone.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Probably just killed somebody.
A lot of the players, not in a bad way, but they are going to be stunned with the noise on Thursday night. It's going to be
I feel like
amazing.
Some of the atmospheres I've experienced at Celtic Park over the years have been brilliant. And I'd only imagine that with 60,000 being locked out for nearly 18 months now, I'm very much looking forward to it. I mean, the prospect of 60,000 in Celtic Park is just, I don't know, it's just something that makes me very happy.
Well, that's if we get in, you won't have your rant in the ticket office.
No, it didn't get me started in the fucking ticket office. But that's the thing, there's so many other people on Twitter in the same boat. When they go into their account, it's saying, you need to be a season ticket holder today or something like that. Well, what was the £500 at my account for then?
Like, I am a season ticket holder, believe it or not.
It's so fucked, but like, I don't. And then the ticket office is open for like 11 till 2, which is ridiculous. They're encouraging you not to go down to the ticket office. Every line when you phone up is engaged. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do here? I'm going to go down there the morning and give them a piece of my mind.
I'm sorry,
what's in the ticket office?
What is it?
I let it the other week. Is the hold tone, the sort of music that plays when you're on hold, is it Ed Sheeran?
Oh, I didn't
it was
get
Castle in the Hill.
Did you not get on hold? No.
I can't think of it.
I phoned on Friday and it just said, "Oh, they're all busy. Phone back later." I'm like,
welcome to the Celtic ticket office.
They
Please
charge
hold.
you by the They charge you the standard rate as well per minute. I don't know what that is, but it's fucking too much. Make them free.
Don Mackay, sort
you're
it out.
contributing to the rebuild, mate.
Do you know what? Actually, I hope we get invited to a fan media presser with Don Mackay. And I'd like to ask about this standard rate you're charging in the bucket on the ticket office lines. Robin Bastard.
You were talking about the 60,000 fans. I was looking through the team yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Players that haven't played in front of the 60,000 yet. It's incredible.
See, well, it won't actually be 60,000, wouldn't it? No, because you need to keep the 2 sections for the subs and that free. Like,
no, they're not just back to normal now. They're not just Really?
I think they're just taking all the precautions they can so we're not getting any cases and that. And
as full of capacity as you can get then. You look at this team. Joe Hart hasn't played, obviously.
Yep.
Welsh hasn't played in front of 60,000 because he never played a home game. He only played Hamilton. Starfelt.
Has he never played a home game? But did he not play a cup game or anything like that? No.
David Turnbull, Furuhashi, Abada. Just looking for the bench. Adam Montgomery as well. It's incredible in sorrow as well.
Varkas.
See, as much as I rant and rave and back the Celtic Park atmosphere on a European night, normally after the first whistle goes, it does kind of fall flat a wee bit. But I think I'd like to think that tomorrow that won't be the case, because everybody's been looked at. Everybody's about to make this a special night. Hopefully the team can go out and do it for us as well. But
that's the thing now. Like,
you
talk about the performance. It could be a repeat of yesterday. I think we can score with the crowd, especially there, to drive them on. The fans will feed off that, and the players will feed off that, vice versa. It could be a very special night.
If we can replicate the performance yesterday, then I'm confident that we can actually go out and get a decent result. But it's just the defensive frailties that we've seen midweek. We should not have shipped 2 goals to that team. They was just poor goals to concede. But hopefully they've had a bit more time in the team. Joe Hart and that, he's, I don't know, a bit more settled. But the one thing I'm kind of more glad about as well is, see, going into games against Rangers and that, I would rather Joe Hart get a couple of games under his belt in which he will be facing shots on target, because Dundee were never going to come out and give us a proper game yesterday. Like, they're just up. I mean, they might get a bit more into the swing of things.
Just at their bed.
But they might get into the swing of things and be a bit more attacking next time they come to Celtic Park. But I mean, yesterday, he never had a lot today. Joe Hart's somebody that's came in a lot of stick for being quite rusty. I'd like to see a couple of games. I think Hearts, especially in the cup, will be a decent test, but where he will be facing shots, because I don't want the first game for him to be actually getting all sorts of shots down his throat, being the derby, because that has the potential to not go well, and I'm not a fan of that.
Nah, it certainly does. It makes you wonder like how it will go, because obviously we know Joe Hart hasn't played a hell of a lot of football the last few years, and when he has, it has been questionable, so it does make you kind of worry. But one part of that is going to be as well getting this defence used to each other, but we need to get the signings in the door to do that as well. So there's so many different scenarios, and that's why Celtic need to move and get these signings made.
We need a right back, left back, and a centre back in. I'd maybe argue 2 centre backs, depending on how long Julian's out for.
Maybe argue 2 right backs as well.
One permanently and one on loan, probably I would do. Get a permanent one in, and then somebody on loan.
I think it would make sense. I mean, I don't know if it's actually just paper talk of that, but see that, is it Koi Takura? I think that makes sense in a number of different ways, because obviously getting him in on loan, he's out of contract at the end of the season. If he's good, we can get him on a free. But also for Furuhashi, because it must be, but on a personal level, it must be quite lonely moving to the other side of the world, and the only person you have is your translator. I don't know if he's got a wife and that. He's only 26, so I don't know.
Well, footballers seem to get them quite young, didn't they? And I don't know if you can hear the drills and such going off in the studio right now. But G4 are getting some work done in their offices. It shouldn't be getting picked up, but if you do hear anything, that's what it is. But once again, thank you to G4 for even allowing us in while work is being done. Anyway, it would be good for a number of different reasons, I think. And it just looks like he's a player who would fit the system.
He's definitely not unsettled, but I mean, I think it would set on there if he actually had somebody there that he could.
Because when we brought in Koki Mizuno
for Nakamura.
Was
that not just for the shot sales as well, so we could get a second one?
Maybe, I don't know.
Big Don Mackay asking Furuhashi to say, I would like it if you were to buy a
that was incredible. That is just so savvy. And putting it in Japanese as well. Translate it as like, it's not the worst Japanese translation I've seen this weekend. I think Spunk takes the bait with that one.
I wanted to repeat what it said, but I don't know if it's suitable.
I think you'd get demonetised, mate.
It's NSFW.
NSFW. We'll come and watch the Friday night special.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, it would be good if we could bring it to Takura, but what if they don't get on?
I know,
that would be a bit of an own goal.
That's what I've thought about in the past. Like, imagine that you go to somewhere and it's like the only other person that speaks your language, you're a bit. He's a fucking wanker.
He's walking up to the English speakers like.
So if one of us went to a Japanese team and they brought in like a Rangers fan to get on with, I was like,
well, you just you're just incapable of getting on with Rangers fans.
That is absolutely not true. I am a very welcoming person.
You're a biggit.
Anyone.
You're a bigot.
We don't class ourselves as bigots.
We don't class ourselves as bigots.
So my boys.
My boys.
And then he says something else.
Then he says
not going to get
no,
repeated.
absolutely not. But it's shocking
because we done sense over sectarianism in school.
That's right, sense over sectarianism. I watched Divided City.
We went to go and see it.
A book as well.
We went to go and see it in the Citizens Theatre.
Yep, and I have learned. So changed this. Anyway, Thursday night.
Changed this. That's as if we were so bad in the first place.
Back in P7, I was a fucking animal. But Thursday night, we have potential to score. The one thing I want to see is another clean sheet. I think if I was to ask for anything, look, if we win 2-0 or 6-0, I don't care. We've won the game. I'd like a clean sheet. What I'm most excited for in general is going for a pint before and then, back to the nightclubs and Thursday night.
Off club.
I just a giveaway where I'm going now, Ryan. Thank you.
It's all good.
Thanks. Paparazzi's got to be there now. But I don't care if we win 2 or 6-0. I would really like us to have that security and the confidence to build off a clean sheet, to be quite honest.
Sorry, mate, on you. Cheers.
Look at that, so cute.
I know. See, you're still working well together. See, when it got to like 4 or 5-0, I was like, right, the next most important thing, just keep the clean sheet. It's so important that we just get in that habit.
Like, a lot of people won't make a big deal out of between, say, 6-0 and 6-1, but for Celtic right now, it is a big deal.
Start as you mean to go on. I don't think we'll have a lot of clean sheets this season. The way that we play, we're just very gung ho, sort of kamikaze football. But
it's a bit controversial.
It's not kamikaze. It is very kamikaze football. It's defensively a bit suspect at times. But,
any reason that you're using kamikaze?
No, just putting 2 and 2 together. It's just accommodating our many viewers in different countries. Some buzzwords. Hello.
We are finished.
Fucking hell, man.
Well, I'm finished.
No, but thank you to everyone that's tuning in from different places. Hopefully we can get some of those Japanese viewers that SPFL got.
I love it.
But
we should go and do an episode live in Japan. Like, we should do a
We're really trying to cash in on this.
No, but we should. Imagine how cool it'd be if we were sitting like a Tokyo rooftop terrace.
No, you know the ones where they all cross the road. What if we don't own like the zebra crossing? We need to film it in minute intervals where they let them walk.
Minute? Are we getting a whole minute?
Abbey Road. You know how some people go to like Rabbi Burns' gaff?
I want
to go to KYOGO's gaff. I want to see where he was born. It's a shrine. It'll be a Celtic shrine. There will be Celtic scarves all over it. The guy's just a hero. I love him to bits.
We could go to Tokyo and get Don Mackay to set us up one of his famous hashtag fan media. He can pay for it. And we can do it from a rooftop terrace in a neon lit sky.
That's actually one of the pictures on Getty Images, is Don Mackay doing a sort of
podcasting
he's doing like a fan media sort of conference where he's in Japan because he was obviously promoting the rugby tournaments.
The World Cup was there.
Right.
He lived in Japan. Do you know? He knew who Ange Postecoglou was.
Let's get him on and ask him.
Let's get him.
I think Dom would be up for it. I think Dom would be up for it. He might give us corporate answers, but at the same time,
I'd be putting him under severe scrutiny at the moment, to be honest.
No, Dom, the standard rates for the ticket, obviously.
But pleasure to have Dom Mackay on. Dom, got so many good questions about Celtic. The standard rates. I mean, you've got to explain yourself.
Fucking answer me.
And why are they only working for 3 years? What sort of living are these people making?
I hope in the near future we do get invited to another sort of fan media press conference with
in person.
With Dom and Ange. I would love to see that again. I'd love to ask him a questioning,
especially because we never got to the first one either.
Thank you.
We weren't what we are now.
We were what we are now.
We're in a studio now.
That's the thing. The fan media and that's good, right? But I mean, it's just we're new signings to ask them a softball question.
I've been talking about this with a few folk from in different medias and that. What is going to happen when the window shuts? Like, what are they going to do with us? Are we just going to get like basic match pressers? Are we going to like what is going to happen?
I don't really know, because it's easy enough to know to just get the new signings in, then it seems like they're doing something, but realistically you're just asking them
one question,
one
question, that's about it. I mean, very grateful they're setting them up now, but there's so much they have to do. I think
it's easy for them to set it up now because there's no way you can possibly really grill these new signings and actually ask them hard questions. But
why are you so shit?
It's important that they keep them going and that we are allowed to like sort of scrutinise as well, because there's got to be that level that we can just go to. Obviously you can do it respectfully, but you can still criticise and ask and sort of get your point across without
freedom of the press, so they're not just letting us into the happy clappers, talking about the new signings and that. But
because I certainly won't be.
No,
you don't like asking what?
I don't like asking those pure like generic questions. I like asking.
I know your questions. You've been getting mailed about your questions.
I have through all sectors of the media.
Through all sectors of the media.
Trying to get
Tom
me to
English.
Definitely not. My questions are too smart for him.
That's wild. That Tom English.
I mean, but I was actually listening to him on Sports Sound Sports Sound yesterday. He actually sounded so buzzing to report that Edward got a knock. Like, he was so dour. The fact that Celtic just won a game 6-0, so dour. He was like, oh, you expect this from Celtic, and then, oh, Edward's injured. As if... So just stick to rugby.
Yeah,
absolute fan.
Did you see what
I ratioed him the other night.
I know, I seen that.
Respect.
Did you see the whole thing with Sky Sports and Andrew's like, you done well to pick out a blip in 6-0?
Brilliant.
Because they said they tried to make something out of the Edward and Abada arguing over the who's taking the penalty.
That was a positive though.
Was that when you got the screenshot of Ange's face?
Yes, I paused it for the exact moment that he done the thing, and then I noticed that one of the Facebook groups used the same picture. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Credit me next time.
Should have watermarked it.
Should have watermarked it, big Ryan McGinley across the middle.
Mystic Mick. I'm gonna change my at to that. But we didn't. I feel bad for not mentioning him during the game. Can I bring us back to the 6-0 game?
Link it until Thursday, you know.
Cal McGregor.
You did mention him.
Not as much, briefly, but not as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
The guy was always available for a pass. He was playing the captain's role to perfection. Even after the game, he brought all the
brilliant.
players
I
in.
know even spoke about that.
That
was really good. I like that.
He's putting his own imprint on it being a captain, and that's great. He's not trying to copy what Brown is or was.
Do you know one thing I picked up on yesterday, and it's something that's going to be interesting for the next few years? I imagine Cal McGregor is probably going to be the Celtic captain for the next 5 or 6 years. He's not. I think he's beyond the point of a move now. I think he's very happy.
I think we always spoke about, see people before the window, I'll give Ayer the captain's armband. That'll make him stay. I feel like that only really works for people for here. Like it means something to them to become captain, but for him, he wants to go and advance his career, and that's why it's worked out.
So I think McGregor's probably safe to say our captain for the next like 5-6 years.
I think so.
That's why I was buzzing when he got the cap.
But
I was like, he's not going to move.
It's going to be interesting to see. One thing that I was when the camera. So McGregor got in trouble a couple of times yesterday off the referee, and it's the interactions with the referee that I was thinking about. Like, it's going to be interesting to see that, because obviously Brown was, let's say, respected by the referees. I think Brown got away with a few things time and time again.
He had charisma and he knew what to say.
He did. He was very clever around it. And the Rangers fans was going, oh, referees are shit scared of Brown. Good. That was a good thing. I like that. That was well done, Scott Brown, for getting himself in that position. So is McGregor going to try and replicate that? Is that going to happen with him? I don't know. But
I think he'll put his own imprint into it, but I just thought it was phenomenal yesterday. A real captain's performance, and if that's what he's like at the start of the season, what's going to be like 4 or 5 months in, he's really leading, and the other players around him are having good games because of it as well. It allowed Turnbull to sort of, Turnbull was playing a wee bit deeper yesterday, and it really
turned up yesterday.
See, as soon as he played that pass to Abada, it was like the shackles went off him completely. He was in the game, and he was ready.
I've just noticed, have you already got your KYOGO lock screen?
I do. I actually get in trouble off my dog last night. My mum was raging because I took Daisy off as my wallpaper.
What a difference. He's got KYOGO and I've got Vasilis Barkas photoshopped onto Jesus Christ.
Who get the credit for making that?
Myself. So, was it? Aye, Thursday night, are we winning? Are we going through? Are we going through?
Yes.
Yes. And do you think it's going
comprehensively?
Comprehensively.
I'm going for 5-0.
Yes.
Oh, I hate this, man. I don't like making predictions because I just feel like if I'm confident about something, I'll end up.
But why do you believe in superstition?
Because you said Shane Duffy was the best centre half in Scotland.
Well, he was when he signed at that time. It was at that time when he signed. He should have been. He should have been.
Right. I was getting stick yesterday for calling McGregor the best midfielder in Scotland.
He is, but
he is. How many titles has he won?
Rangers fans will try and say, but Kamara.
Kamara's class. He is. McGregor's the best.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't take it back.
He was phenomenal in the Euros. He was phenomenal a couple of seasons ago. Yes, he had a bad season. How many bad seasons have Rangers players had?
I know. McGregor's the best.
McGregor, head and shoulders. And people keep hearing about Davis.
Knees and toes.
Davis plays checkers and McGregor plays chess, and that's all I have to say on it. I don't care.
That's how film's going to be some laugh in it.
Oh no, and it comes all back and
bring it on. we might even be going into that game favourites.
I don't
The
think
way
I don't think, unless Rangers.
We need to see what the next couple of results are. Ultimately,
I wouldn't get so far ahead of myself.
I wouldn't, but
because I think Rangers will probably go through them on tonight.
I love how. Do you know what I love about starting this podcast? Because we've only been doing this since January. I love that now I can take the pressure off myself having to make ridiculous statements and be so confident when there's Ryan here to do it for me.
It's mental in all these clips that other Rangers fans will take. I'm going to be sitting there like that.
People got noticing you in tunes that using that clip, and I'm like,
Going,
and I'm the one that's thinking to myself, fucking hell. And the last thing to talk about before we go into Twitter questions and the quiz, I suppose. Well, there's a couple of things. The protest happened yesterday. I think the weather was slightly in Dermot Desmond and Don Mackay's favour. To be quite honest, I'm convinced Dermot Desmond is controlling the weather right now for the sake of his own interests.
exactly.
But the message of the protest is very, very clear. Back the team. Sack the board.
The board have proved time and time again that they're not up to it.
I am never going to let
Joe Hart and James McCarthy isn't going to pull the wool over
one
people's
too
eyes.
many times, and a lot of people will have the wool pulled over their eyes. A lot of people will. That's ultimately, we've talked about this before. There's a portion of the support who are, because it's Celtic and because it's this, that they won't criticise, and that's okay. Your decision.
If that's how you want to support the club, fair enough. We can't tell you.
I can't tell you not to. But I have had the wool pulled over my eye before. I've thought to myself, there was times back when Rodgers was in charge, because we were performing so well and winning trebles, I was going, I like the
that's what I
board,
mean,
But I've learned from that, and it's not as simple anymore.
We're so blinded by going for 10 in a row that for years that we forgave the regression in Europe. And I don't like to go back to this negative stuff after such a good performance yesterday, but it's when you've got people still trying to take the board's side on something else, there's no side to take here. There's one right side to take. The board have fucked us over time and time again. They've shown disdain for the support, and a couple of signings on it for free isn't going to make me think any differently. It's just it's people that are so easy to forgive them because of Joe Hart and James McCarthy. That's what I don't get. They were raging a few days prior.
Yep.
They two came in like, no, you can't protest anymore. I'm like, excuse me, how does that work?
That's not how
It
it
doesn't
works.
make you a bigger fan to back the board.
No.
It doesn't get you added.
We're Celtic
Parker
supporters, not
points.
Dermot Desmond supporters.
I know you don't get added Parker points.
Celtic's not got a shag in it.
And it doesn't make you a bigger fan to call fans so-called Celtic fans.
I know.
These fans are probably love the club more than you do, because they want change. They want what's best for the club, and they're not accepting anything less.
This is an argument that I hope doesn't need to come up too much more this season, because it was very divisive amongst the support last year.
Yep.
But you've got the people like I genuinely seen people on Twitter saying that the protest last year is why we played so badly. I'm like, are you actually taking the piss? They're trying to blame. I'm like, so what, you're trying to deflect the blame for Neil Lennon, and the protest happened because of how badly we were playing.
What were the protests about?
The results got better. After somebody actually went and cross-checked it. They go better.
Because mind, the worst run of form was that period. It was
between October and
November, and we won 2 and 14
but then
or
in
something.
December we got a few wins, and then we got humbled again at Ibrox. But
yeah, before
here
comes the turning point.
But I mean, it's just it's something I really hope doesn't need to get spoke about too much more. But it's an issue that people we don't want to sweep under the rug. But it's just. It's annoying because there's so many people that are still wanting to take the board's side on it, and fans aren't allowed to protest because we won midweek basically, and Joe Hart and that came in. It's just some people are too easy to forgive them, and I'm not going to be easy to forgive the board because, as I said, for so long we were blinded by this goal of 10 in a row that we were willing to forgive. Europe doesn't matter, it's all about the 10. But now we're in the reality, it didn't happen. We thought it would have. It didn't happen. And now we've went from being a Champions League club, maybe at the start of going for 10 in a row, to we're on the cusp of maybe not even being a Europa League club.
Conference League club.
So that's the level we have dropped down.
Yep.
So people need to realise that as much as you've got people that think Europe's a bonus, Europe's where all your money comes from.
I know.
If Rangers get into the Champions League this year, about 30 million quid. If they win the league this year, another 30 million quid. And the financial gap that we had on Rangers is now flipped.
I was just looking at whatever Ryan was looking there, but you've put that very well, Kieran. I actually never really considered it at the start of 10 in a row. We were a Champions League club.
We got to the last 16.
And now, by the end of it, we could be in the newly created third division, which was created for the likes of Hibernian and Aberdeen.
And Tottenham.
And Tottenham Hotspur. And I've been seeing a lot of people with that whole Van Dijk thing recently, playing for Celtic at 23. And I would rather play for Carlisle United than Tottenham Hotspur.
Wow.
Big take.
Tottenham are tin pot as fuck. I remember, funny story, I like podcasting because you can go on anecdotes. We were in Ayia Napa in 2019 and we went on the boat party, and coming off the boat party we were on a bus with basically a whole bus of Tottenham fans. So it was our group and a bus load of Tottenham fans. Number one, their chants are very fucking weird. They're a weird
got about
bunch.
2 or 3 chants.
Yeah, and the one that they kept singing was about shagging dead bodies. So, you know, it gave me the wrong sort of
Tottenham fans, sort yourself.
They were talking about digging up Arsenal's grandmothers and shagging them, and it was just horrendous. It was horrendous, really. I was like, is this what they call Pattard doing in North London? Anyway,
They've not got Pattard.
No, they have not. So we go off the bus and we're walking like back to the hotel, and they decide to come up to us. They're like, "Oh, where you stay?" Like, Glasgow, blah blah. "Oh, do you support Celtic or Rangers?" Celtic. I was like the only. This was a group of pals that don't really like football, so I was kind of the representative in the football chat here.
Ambassador.
I was like, Celtic, and they said, Celtic. You support a fucking football club. Your club do nothing, mate. And I'm like, when was the last time you won a fucking
I don't
trophy?
like telling English people that I support Celtic because most of them don't like Celtic.
Aye.
They've got their reasons.
they may be justified.
Most of the ones who spoke to in London were sound, to be fair. But
I know.
I mean, you've got the odd.
But
wanker.
these boys, oh my god, honestly, the whole Celtic, tin pot, you're a nothing club, and I'm like, you genuinely support Tottenham Hotspur?
I say the TV deals went to the heat, didn't they?
Harry Kane is bigger than Tottenham Hotspur.
Yes. Mauricio Pochettino's bigger than Tottenham Hotspur.
He literally was bigger.
I fucking hate English clubs so much,
fuck them. Right, Twitter questions time was where I was going.
Bring them up
if you want. I did have them here, but you know what? You can go for them and do it how you done it last week. I enjoyed that. So you give me one, give Kieran one.
I've got questions under the tweet, and then I've got questions under my quote tweet as well.
Just go for the ones under the tweet. They should understand how to do it.
Wow.
Can you not read?
Can you not read the tweet?
I never specifically told him.
No, it's fine. It's okay. But in all seriousness, if you do want to get involved with the show every week and get your questions in and hear some answers from professionals.
We speak for the fans.
We speak for the fans.
Fan media.
Fan media.
Thank you, Don Mackay, for the 50% off my top for the fan media voucher code that I got the
I
other
look
day.
forward to my comfy leather seat on Thursday as well.
I expect to be fanned by 2 fans opposite me.
I expect sushi on arrival and beer.
And you were slagging me for using the word kamikaze.
Right.
I'm going to be the only one that's standing on this podcast.
Hey, if you want to come and follow us at Sellik Podcast on Twitter, leave your questions every week. Right, go.
So the first question comes from Shay. Shay was on my Twitter Spaces last night. Obviously, I'm giving preferential tweetment. Actually worked pretty well. Shay is saying, do you think that Ange will rotate the team every week, or do you think he'll kind of stick with an 11 he feels is the best? Just open up to the floor.
I feel like initially you've got to try and keep that 11 just to try and build a bit of momentum, and then I think after you've done that you can maybe start to afford to bring more players in and change up what we can make it.
Nice.
I'll just ask the both of you to add something to it.
I agree.
I agree.
Great addition.
I agree with this statement.
Connor Carr asks, do you think we need a new left back more than a right back now, as Ralston has actually stepped up to the plate and impressed, as opposed to Taylor?
I've seen this question earlier, and in terms of a first team player, I'd say left back is more important now. I'm Taylor is starting to annoy me.
I'd say so, but they're both the priorities. They're both from a top priority.
Yeah, both. Ultimately, we should be signing one in both positions. Aye. If for some reason the Celtic board deem it appropriate only to sign one or the other,
I'll be raging.
I would be. Look, I think both of them are a matter of emergency. But if off of recent performances, I'd be more comfortable with a left back signing tomorrow than a right back signing next week, for example. But I do you know what? It's just give us both, please.
I just want to see Bolingoli have a chance in this team, because I think he could really do the business.
Hallelujah. Do you know what volley back in your team?
I don't know. If he can come in and prove himself, then why not? But I don't have the utmost confidence in him. I wasn't his biggest fan when he was at Celtic.
McG asks me, is McGinley Fabrizio Romano in disguise? Yes.
Nice.
Here we go. Who is better, Taylor or Ralston? Asks SPFL Goals.
It's Ralston now.
It's crazy that, isn't it?
I would say. The thing is, right, Taylor for so long I wanted to try and I was backing him I was back and
That's the thing, but this has happened so many times where there's players that we're hoping do well. We've got no confidence that will do well, but we've just got this blind hope that, please work out.
Aye. Right, I'll let you the next one to.
Hannah asks, how many more signings do you believe we still need to make for this season ahead?
4 or 5. I'd say left back, right back, centre half, maybe 2 centre halves, and if Edward goes, we need a striker.
Lovrich.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. I think we need 6 or 7, but we need 4 or 5 people that can walk into the first team, and then we need squad depth because I still think there's going to be quite a few players that will leave.
The bench is still a bit
thin.
So I'll go into my questions.
Thin. Somebody in the pod, I can't remember. The camera might cut out in a second. It has cut out, but we'll keep going. And we'll just reset it to quiz. I'll put up an advertisement on screen. People are moaning at me saying Finn. I say that Finn. Like, have you ever actually said like
Finn?
Finn?
Yeah.
Do you say like all your THs like that?
thin.
Do you?
Suffering.
Do you say Finn?
Aye.
It's a bit Finn.
Finn.
Are you? You roll your R's and say Finn.
I've always
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid. No, I've never adjusted in my life ever to saying like.
No, see the thing I always say, like,
thought.
I don't know if it's just for people from Glasgow, but see in terms of like when we were in 6th year, I can't say 6th. Sixth. It's such a horrible thing to say.
Aaron here asks a couple of great questions in the fan media press conference, by the way, from him. Would you mind not signing Lovrich if Christie maintains his performance levels on the left wing and signs a new contract? Can I answer that one first? I would like both. I'm going to be greedy. I would like both of them.
He's asking a fucking question, Ryan. One or the other.
I would mind because I want Lovrich.
What if Christie gets injured, but then we've left with nobody that's got the actual quality?
Mikey Johnston.
Oh, easy answer.
Easy answer. I'd like us to still sign Lovrich.
Yep.
Aye.
But I love Christie right now. Like, I'm genuinely in love with him right now.
Fitzy of the Fit's Been Happening podcast gives us more of a talking point than a direct question. He says, I cannot remember a more exciting debut at Celtic Park than Kyogo Furuhashi. I would agree.
But we said it at the top of the show, didn't we?
Very true, but
especially in our lifetimes anyway. I don't think so. I think some of the I've seen a few of the elder sports sayings that Cadetti, maybe he had a good one, but obviously we can't really comment on that because we were not kicking about at that point.
How does he say his name? Is it Jorge? Or Jorge?
Couldn't tell you.
George Cadet.
George Cadet. What a tune, by the way, that John Guidetti song.
Yeah.
John Guidetti.
We'll get Fat Boy Beans. He's here. He's always here. He said, last season, I was on this podcast saying Christie would flourish under a new manager and an actual system with the Stars.
Yes.
Now he has. Will Ryan publicly apologise on camera for his hate with a week?
Oh, right. Listen. Right.
David Buick also said that I also held this opinion regularly on TSF. We are truly two of the greats, Beans, as they're both cuddling each other.
As they both don't turn up to do any podcasts. So
Beans replied saying, I have always respected you gratefully, Buick. David Buick says, likewise, sir. I would say for Beans and David Buick, get a room.
Agreed.
Just as long as it's not in my flat.
But Beans likes to stand by the oppressed. I've seen the oppressed Celtic players. Barkas, he always likes to back the one.
Well, I back
Taylor.
Barkas.
I'm sure he's backed Taylor before.
No, because do you know why? And Beans, I'm calling you out. He just loves being fucking edgy. That's why. He loves it.
Edgy boy.
He's an edgy boy. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. But he loves being edgy. He loves it.
And fair play to him. Because do you know what, he rocks it. I hope he's still listening. I hope he
I said the same thing on that pod. I literally agreed with him on the podcast. I'm not going to apologise. I agreed with him. That just happens that
double down, Ryan.
He deserved the criticism last year. I'm not going to apologise for the criticism that he fucking deserved. Well, I did actually. I put out a tweet yesterday saying I'm sorry.
You're not at the show today.
I'm not at the show, bye.
Get Brandon asking or saying, I don't feel that left back is being talked about enough right now. Do you think Josh Doig should be our new left back? And if not, who should?
What even is the
Oh, you mean Josh Doig?
You cheeky dick. What?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Oh, Josh Doig. There's not going to be any lines, is there?
What?
I'm just doing a Gerard impression. It was terrible.
What did you say? I've never known a group of fans to win a football match. You know, they can make a crowd very exciting.
On Tuesday, I'll be calling on the Ibrox.
They can make a game very exciting for everyone to enjoy.
I got a great WhatsApp about that the other day. It's hilarious.
But Josh Doig, what's the situation? He played yesterday.
He did. Because they left him out of the team.
He got an assist.
Supposedly he might be actually staying at Hibs now.
Oh.
But I don't know. Is Josh Doig somebody that's going to walk into their team and...
Yes.
He probably would at this
See,
point.
I
that's
reckon
the
he
thing.
would.
I reckon, well, with that shite at left back, that he probably would. But, I mean, I'm not going to go out and say I've watched Josh Doig week in, week
Looked
out.
great yesterday.
But I really only watched Sports Soon to see with KYOGO again.
Yeah, he looked good.
KYOGO.
He looked good. I think we should certainly. I think we should certainly.
Shaken, not strong.
Show shot shots. I think we should certainly be looking for someone a little bit older, someone that has that first team experience, and someone who's experienced playing in an inverted fullback role. But I would take Doig happily if the option was there. But we're not going to pay £5 million.
Nah, no chance.
No,
I think if we were going to pay that for Aaron Hickey, maybe not Doig.
I don't even think we'd pay it for Hickey.
I just can't imagine us gaining another Scottish Cup £5 million, which I'm not being snobby or nothing, but it's just like.
When was the last time we done that?
I mean, Brown was about 4.4.
So
that was years
Turnbull
ago
was
as well, to be fair, so the
Yeah.
inflation would have
Made
took
it,
it out of that.
aye.
Aye. But even then, it's not to be like. I'm always a
Not
big
being cheeky.
advocate of Scottish clubs valuing their players correctly, and if they want $5 million, hold it for $5 million.
Yep.
Don't undervalue players.
No, certainly not. Right.
Okay. Alexander Young
Fly through.
posting in saying Carol Starfelt again yesterday. I think he had a few dodgy moments. For example, he misread the long ball. Do you think this will be cut out of his game over time, or do you think he's maybe a liability?
I think he's surely got to improve game by game. He's just getting settled at the club now, getting to know his teammates. Hopefully it is just a bit of rust at the start of it, and
Yep.
he can grow into it. Hopefully, I think he'll be a lot better when he has Julian by his side. He'll feel a lot more confident that he's got somebody that will be, at this point, a really established centre-half for Celtic, even though he's been out with injury quite a few times. But yeah, I feel like Julian's our best centre-half.
Can't wait for big Julian, man.
Just hope he's the same player when he comes
No.
back.
Yep,
That's
same.
always the worry. Hatsune Miku CSC, which is a Japanese cartoon, said, "Is Kyogo the second coming of Henrik, or is he the second coming of Jesus Christ himself?"
Well, the second coming of Jesus Christ is. Oh, by the way,
Is it the BT? Is it
BT
the
getting a Serie A. Aye. But no, the second coming of Jesus Christ is the man on my lock screen.
Silas Barkas.
The Silas Barkas. So it's
Is that because he's got holes in his horn?
no, we've figured it out. I've told you. I went through this. I went through that. I think I went
Is
through
that
this.
some
Like,
Catholic humour?
we have had. I went through this, right? So, the Passion of Christ, right? Barabbas, free Barabbas. Barabbas is Joe Hart, right? Joe Hart has been prisoned for the last 6 years, and the crowd have chanted for Barabbas to be freed. So Joe Hart's been freed, and Vasilis Barkas has been put.
So you're
to
basically
death.
So
saying
you've
that
compared
Joe Hart.
to Jesus Barabbas.
So you're saying that Joe Hart is the
bandit,
bad.
a murderer and bandit.
So the crowd are saying Barabbas,
Barabbas
and
was a
it's Joe Hart.
scourge.
And then wait, hold on. So he's gone.
Can't
in the,
believe this.
He's gone to the Mount of Gethsemane, or whatever it's called. Or, you know the
Calvary.
whatever it is. Anyway, no, Gethsemane's where he was betrayed. Sorry.
Sorry.
So he's on the way to Golgotha, which is now the Garden Gad in this situation.
We've actually managed to. You've managed to culturally appropriate
Right,
Japan,
so
and now
is
we've
what-
pissed
what-
off Christianity.
Well,
in one go.
So on the way with the cross, Barkas falls for the first time, and who
What was
comes?
that mistake?
Simon of Cyrene.
And
Cyrene,
so Scott Bain comes over to help him with the first fall. Right, he gets back up and he keeps going. And he falls for the second time. Connor Hazard comes and helps him with the second fall, and then he's
There's a wee bit
falling.
of time between the second and the third.
So this is what their goal is, getting up to instead of training. They're rehearsing for the Passion of the Christ.
Less time
They'll be putting on
preaching,
it.
more time playing.
This is going to be getting put on at Sellik Park.
But you know what it means, right? So Joe Hart has came and he's helped him for the third time, and now
It's a bit much.
Vasilis Barkas has now been crucified, which means he's going to see when he comes back and he returns for the dead. He's going to be the best keeper on earth.
For a day, and then he
That wee
fucks
voice
off
doing
again.
that. There is no confidence in what you're saying.
It's
It's just words.
The disciples are the team. The story has got a lot of fucking.
Who's Judas?
Brendan Rodgers.
Oh. Aye.
I never signed Barkas.
I betrayed him with a kiss.
My beautiful, beautiful Doris de Vries.
Right, we're getting out of hand. Let's.
One more.
We've got a fucking hour, man.
Glasgow's Green Podcast, Gig Pod.
Oh.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to Gig Pod.
They have asked, can you see us now, with a sunglasses emoji and a hail hail. It's very much like a sort of Celtic gossip tweet, which I'm into that sort of gimmick. Can you see us now?
I still can't stop thinking about the Passion of the Christ.
Barabbas and Joe Hart. That's mental.
Barabbas, free Barabbas.
We're blasphemers, man.
Alright, that's it.
I think we need to move on with this.
Is that the quiz? Is that
Play us
time
out,
of the
Glenn.
show? It's time for the Sellik the Thunder quiz, ladies and gentlemen. The way we end off every single show. It's my favourite part of the show, in all honesty, and I just can't.
If I win.
Well, who won last week? Oh wait, last week you were on the phone. You were on the phone with Beans last. Five. Well done. 1-0.
See, I wasn't sure
McGinley.
because he's in the Olympic squad. I wasn't sure because he's quite young if he would have been making.
So there you go. 5 appearances.
Do they not count as caps? Not that I want to take those away.
For Olympics and that.
Because they get counted as an under 23 team, don't they?
Aye.
So, Kieran, question 2 to get back on track. Celtic have won 6-0 twice in the past year. Don't let yourself be misled for earlier, Kieran. Against Dundee and which other club? We did get a 6-0 last season.
Because I
Yeah.
think I've got it in my head, but I'm not certain. But I'm sorry.
Completely forgot this happened.
Was it a qualifier?
It was, yes.
it's
I shouldn't
that-
be allowed to tell you, but
No,
it
but
was.
it's that team for Iceland. If I don't know what the first letters are, but it's Reykjavik.
I'll give you it. Yep, that's the
KR,
correct answer.
is it
KR
KR,
Reykjavik. There
You
you
not
go.
beat Falkirk 6-0? Was that?
Was
See,
it?
I was
That was
thinking
only
about-
3,
I
wasn't
d-
it?
aye, I
That
don't
was
know
only
if
3-0. The
Felt
other,
like
the
a
one was
6-0.
I felt like what was it?
Was Livingston
Livy
5-0
must have
then?
been 5-0. We beat Livy. Must have been
You
5.
talk about the home game with Kennedy.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 6-1 or something.
I may have been then. Maybe.
'Cause I
Anyway,
feel like that's
you've got it. You've got it right. Okay. Question number 2 for you, McGinley, to take the lead again. If Celtic progress past Jablonettes, they will face EZ Alkmaar. How many points did the Dutch side finish behind PSV last season?
3.
You're wrong.
I'm sure it was only 3 points behind PSV.
Apparently, it was only 1 point. Apparently.
Need to look that up.
Yeah, I have to
I'm sure
look it
it's
up,
3.
mate. Murphy Duff rarely gets them wrong, mate. Rarely gets them wrong. Apparently,
That
it
was
only-
shared about.
well. Apparently,
I'm not doubting Matthew at all, but I just need to check.
Let's see. Let's just clarify this. I believe Matthew, by the way. Just saying.
Top of the league this season.
Eredivisie table 2021. That's what you need.
Oh, it was only 1. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, he's
I've
got-
been led on by
You've
somebody
been
else.
led on.
There is a conspiracy
1
against
point.
me.
Okay.
I'm not.
So it's 1-0.
I'm not. I'm obviously wrong.
It's 1-0 heading into question 3. Kieran, how many major trophies has Celtic goalkeeper Joe Hart won? How many major trophies?
He's only won the Premier League twice, I think, isn't he? Let's go 6. Is it 5?
It's 5.
I was actually
It's
gonna say
5.
I
He's
a
won
couple
the.
of FA Cups.
He's won the Premier League twice. He's won the League Cup twice, and he's won the FA Cup once.
Just the ones. Aye.
Decent.
Was that the one against? Was it Stoke?
It's the one he shouted decent in, is it not? I don't know.
Or was it Stoke?
Right, question 3 for you, McGinley, to take the lead again. Who holds the record fee or the record sale for a non-European at Celtic?
Non-European.
Yes.
Let me think. Oh, fuck.
It's quite a good
Wait,
question.
a record sale?
Record sale at
us
Celtic.
selling them on?
Yep.
Non-European.
Non-European.
I've got this.
Oh God. Oh, that is a good one.
That is a good
one. I honestly can't think. Non-European. I'm trying to think of players that have.
Gonna have to start using a timer in these shows.
Mark Viduka.
Is wrong.
This is us selling them on, isn't it?
Yep.
Victor Wanyama.
Victor Wanyama.
11.
I had a feeling you weren't going to get that.
What was that?
£13 million. So there you go. Kieran to take the lead.
I was watching him the other day.
Celtic lost the opening game of the season at Tynecastle, but what season was the last time Celtic lost on opening day?
97-98.
Correctamundo. Henrik Larsson's debut for Celtic. They lost on the opening day back then, so 2-1 to Kieran. Good answer, Kieran. Yeah. Question 4 for you, Ryan, to get back on level terms. Only one Albanian has ever played for Celtic. Name him.
Rudy Vata.
Correct. 2-0 as we come into question
I've only known
5.
that because he's
His boys playing for
aye.
him.
Yep, that's
Right.
right.
The other night.
Right,
Was it
okay.
Rocco?
Rocco Vata.
Aye.
Only 15. Looks a player.
Here we go. Kieran. Anthony Ralston has been on loan to which 3 clubs during his Celtic career?
Bastard. Dundee United.
Correct.
Did they go on loan to St Johnson?
Correct.
And then this is the one that.
I didn't know about the third.
Oh, I don't know either.
I'm trying to think. Because I've got one in my head, but I don't think it's right. Did they? No. That's a pain in the arse. I feel can't put my finger on it.
It's a bad tune, man.
I'm going to just have to guess somebody doing like Scottish Championship or something. But Ayr.
No.
Is it?
I would have went for Ayr as well, actually.
Queen's Park.
Queen's Park.
I did not know he was at Queen's Park.
That must
Was
have
that
been
years
early on.
ago?
Yeah, must have been. You got 2 out of 3, unlucky. And finally, for you, McGinley, equally as tough question, I would say.
Is this to win it or?
This is to
to
win it. To win it. Yep, to defend your crown. Celtic B team won 2-0 away to Bonesh United at the weekend. Who scored both goals?
Was it Let Sosa?
He scored 1, yes.
And was it Brodie Patterson?
I thought you were going to get it there. It was Bruno Davidson. Oh, unlucky.
Can't get 1 out of 2.
It
Kieran
ends.
get 2 out of 3.
It ends to all the. Well, see, to be fair, Matthew's question was either of the goal scorers. I changed it because I thought it would be more fair.
That is fair after that
That
question.
is
No,
fair.
that
So I
is
thought it would be
that
more
is
fair. So
It's a good
it
question,
does
obviously.
end 2-2, which means it's the tiebreaker.
We seem to go to this all the time, don't we?
Even if somebody wins it.
Even if somebody wins. Right, Kieran, you answer first, mate. How many minutes were between KYOGO's first and last goals against Dundee?
47.
Okay. McGinley.
43.
Okay. Your winner of today's Select the Thunder quiz
Kieran's won it.
is Mr. Kieran. Oh, the bang on answer is 47
He scored
minutes.
20, 25, 67, didn't he?
Yes, all 3 of them right. Look at that.
Fair enough.
Superb.
Can he beat that?
Cannot beat that. You cannot beat that at all. Well
Wish I
done,
could,
Kieran.
but I can't.
Well done, Kieran.
Quite a good quiz.
Hopefully next week.
Thanks again, Matthew.
Thank you,
Quiz.
mate.
That was a really good quiz.
Yep, and hopefully next week somebody else can. I want to take part next week, so hopefully somebody else can get the quiz on behalf. Because I would like to spank some ass.
And on that note.
I know on that
But
note.
enough about your DMs.
We are finished.
I am finished, man. Yeah, but that's it. That's basically everything I feel like we have to cover this week. And another exciting week for Sellik. We never even touched on the fact that we won't be here before the cup game next week. We'll be back after the cup game. So we've actually got 2 games by the time we do our next episode. And hopefully we're still in the cup against Hearts.
It's crossed.
Do you think we'll go through against Hearts?
I'm not making any predictions.
Not making any
Revenge is on the cards.
I know, we need to try and get
We need to avenge that defeat. That's it, isn't it? Because I mean, we were deserving winners. I think we should have won at Tynecastle. We just didn't do it.
We just didn't.
We just didn't win. It was shocking, to be quite honest.
And we need a bit of revenge against Adam Kennedy.
And we do actually. Aye, Kennedy, a prick.
Kendo.
Big Kendo, mate. He's flying.
He's flat.
He's good with his
stuff,
predictions and all
his
that.
stuff,
I've never met somebody with such a mind made for predictions and fantasy football and all that jazz. You know what I mean?
Do you know, just before we finish, you see that Celtic song? I love it all of a sudden after saying I wanted it changed. I know.
Did you get to your Celtic commentary on Thursday?
Yep. Just got to be a magic in it.
You'll never walk
60,000 people singing the Sellik song again.
Somebody's actually made the point that Ange should go into the centre circle and be properly introduced to the fans.
Same way with him bio.
That was incredible.
I just stand there like, gotta see.
It was never the same once they done that. Never the same.
Good to see the disco lights on Thursday as well, wasn't it?
Nah, it's like a new sign.
Well, that'll do us, lads. If you've been on Spotify, make sure to follow and support the show. Share it out. If you have been on YouTube, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It's been a pleasure as always. Thanks to Kieran and Ryan. And yes, we'll see you all next time. Da-dum.